The Oval Cricket Ground in South London, the new home to the International Wine Challenge. Within these walls, more than 13,000 wines from around the world will be tasted over the course of 2.5 weeks, and the best will emerge with the industry's most coveted awards. Logistically, the competition is a challenge in itself. The mammoth task of coordinating the arrival of thousands of bottles of wine from more than 50 countries and preparing them for tasting requires a team of industrious workers on site.
I'm hoping for brilliant wines from all over the world. We've got wines from a bewildering number of countries.
I'm expecting the unexpected, I guess.
More wines, series of interesting vintages, camaraderie, good fun, great tasting, hard work, long days, but in the end something that I really get a buzz out of.
1.4 kilometres of racking is assembled to receive 4 bottles of each wine sent from the producers, making a total of over 52,000 bottles that need to be labelled and racked prior to the start of the judging process. As the wines are unpacked, they are loaded onto the racking, organised by style and country. This ensures that they are easy to locate for the remainder of the process. Each one is catalogued and given a unique reference code, which is printed on a label and attached to the bottle. A row of photography stations capture an image of each wine to further support the rigorous documentation and for the use on the competition's website and app. The images will also accompany the numerous press releases sent out to the worldwide media, gaining valuable press coverage for the producers. Recycling is a key aspect of the IWC. 100% of the corks, glass and cardboard are recycled, with the polystyrene packaging eventually becoming insulation bricks. Open bottles of wine are emptied into vats and sent to a food manufacturer. The unopened bottles are donated to charities, generating more than £100,000 per annum for good causes. The next step in the process is flighting, ready for round 1. This is where the wines are taken from the shelves in the storage facility and put into flights. Each flight contains wine from the same region and of a similar style. The bottles are concealed in bags to ensure a blind tasting and tagged with that particular wine's unique code for the purpose of recording its results. All identifying marks are also removed from the bottles.
I've got 2 tranches, one in November and one in April. So the producers now can choose which one fits their production and marketing schedules the best. So if your wines are ready for November, enter in November. If they're ready in April, enter in April. It's the same competition.
On each of the 5 days of tasting in round 1, the judges collect their clipboards and sheets on which to record their scores, ready for the task ahead. Meanwhile, the wines are opened and dispatched to tables in the judging hall, where the judges will begin their deliberations, flight by flight. Each panel is made up of 5 judges, one of whom is the panel chair. There are 350 judges in total, and they are all professionals within the wine trade.
We're at a cricket ground, and I tend to think of it sometimes as we're being a bit like the wicket keepers or even the long stop, that we're there on the boundary making sure that nothing bad gets through, but also sometimes throwing things back to the wicket keeper, if you like, to make sure the ball stays in play.
Every wine that is rejected in this first week, we have a look at, just to make sure that nothing slips through.
The tables of judges that we've got are also very good because we've got panel chairs. Now those are people who've come through the system, they've worked as judges with other panel chairs, have proved themselves. Because every year, all the judges on the tables get marked and get judged by each other. So the panel chair is obviously making his or her decisions on the more junior judges on the table, but they're also commenting on their panel chair.
So we don't overturn panel decisions lightly, but we do overturn them when we think we can come up with a better result. And it's not just me, I have to find another co-chair to agree with me.
Round 1 is essentially a sifting process. This identifies which wines are thought to be worthy of a medal, although which colour medal they will receive is not decided at this point. They will proceed to the next round for another tasting. If the panel cannot reach a unanimous or majority verdict on the fate of the wines at this stage, the panel chair will have the final say.
My name is Maria Rita. We need to check if actually the wines that were in the bag are exactly the same wines that we got in the flight. So I check if each number corresponds to the exact number of the bottle.
The aim of the challenge is simple: to recognise excellence in the winemaking trade for the benefit of both producers and consumers. For the producer, it means increased sales. For the consumer, providing a stamp of approval, taking the risk out of wine buying. We're going to follow a flight on its journey from its delivery to the judging table for round 1, right through to the end of the process, where we'll find out whether any of the wines receive awards. This particular flight is made up of Pinot Noir, identified by the unique code on the bottle's tag, 5795. There is a wealth of experience throughout the ranks of the IWC judges, often giving up their time from day jobs such as senior wine buyers or specialist wine writers. They're used to tasting large numbers of wines, and here they will taste approximately 100 wines in a day.
This year, it's not so much one particular type of flight that stood out. What I love doing is coming across all sorts of weird and wonderful grape varieties that I've never even heard of, let alone tasted. I saw some Russian ones I couldn't pronounce that I'd never heard of, a couple of Japanese things, Turkish ones, and invariably there's always Italian ones I've never heard of that come up. I'm learning. I've been in this trade for 30 years and I'm still learning.
Some of them simply because they're quite unique. Quite a few wines from Thailand, had an amazing flight of wines from Turkey. I know those wines a bit well, so I was excited to see them and enjoyed judging them. And I think that generally the overall quality of New Zealand is singing as usual. I always lament the fact that as I am based in Manhattan and from the US, so I spend a lot of time in Europe, we don't see very many US wines here, which I think is a bit of a shame.
Some wines will be marked as commended or out, and while this may sound like the end of their journey, it's not. These wines are then taken to a separate station and retasted by an IWC co-chair, of whom there are 5. He can either agree with the panel's decision and the wine will receive its commendation, or be out of the competition, or, if he thinks it is worthy of a medal, he will have a fellow co-chair verify that decision and the wine goes through to round 2. This belt and braces approach ensures that every single wine is given every chance to do its very best. This thoroughness in the judging process is what sets the International Wine Challenge apart from other awards. As the first week draws to a close, the field is narrowed to about half of the original entries, and our Pinot Noir 5795 has made it through to the next round. Preparations for round 2 are similar to those for the previous round, with the wines being bagged and tagged to ensure they are tasted blind. All the wines that made it through round 1 are reflighted, with the IWC staff working long days with occasional breaks. This is done again according to country and style, ready for retasting by a new set of judges. The awarding of gold, silver or bronze medals is decided at this stage, although it's still possible that wines could be marked as commended or out. The judging panels will take longer over their deliberations in round 2, making notes on their impressions of each wine and giving marks for faithfulness to variety, country, region and vintage. If any of the wines are thought to be faulty by the judging panel, they're transferred to the fault clinic, presided over by one of the co-chairs. If the fault is verified, then another bottle will be requested from storage. We pick up with the Pinot Noir wines whose flight we joined in round 1. Pinot Noir 5795 made it through to the second stage and could potentially receive a gold, silver or bronze medal. It is reflighted and delivered to a table in the judging hall, where it is tasted and assessed by a different panel. Whereas only the wines marked commended or out were tasted by the co-chairs in the previous round, this time all the wines will go through this additional tasting to verify the awards given by the panel judges. By the end of this stage, each wine has been tasted at least 3 times by different judges. So we pick up on Pinot Noir 5795 to discover it's been awarded a bronze medal. However, its journey ends here, as it cannot go any further.
I think the thing that makes this competition unique, and I judge a lot of competitions around the world, is how many times the wines are tasted. So every wine, even the worst wine that's entered the competition, I'm not naming any names, but will be tasted at least twice. And the further you get into the competition, the more times your wine is tasted by a greater number of experienced and professional people. Another thing, and because I'm in charge of it, is that we listen to music. Now, I know there's been various bits of research done saying that music affects the way you taste. Music puts a smile on my face. It puts me in a good mood. I think everyone else likes it. And so we try to create a sort of atmosphere that's not cathedral-like, where people are having a boring time and being terribly studious about wine, but where they have fun. And having fun doesn't mean that you can't be professional. I think that the two are not mutually exclusive. So fun, professional, that's what makes the IWC so special for me.
Other competitions may look at the price as a criteria in assessing wine quality. We actively don't do that. And the reason we don't do that is because we think it presents a bias. And if you look at some of the results from other competitions, the lower price wines don't win as many top awards as one sees in the IWC.
We do, however, pick up with a gold medal winner from that flight, Pinot Noir 5802, as it continues its journey. After round 2, all gold medal winning wines progress further to the trophy round. This includes wines from both tranches. Reflighted once more according to style, region and country, they're now competing for the coveted regional and national trophies in each category. For the Great Value category, both gold and silver medal winning wines will be considered for this supplementary award. Pinot Noir 5802 wins the sub-regional trophy for Burgundy, but does not progress any further. However, its contemporaries are in the running for the International Pinot Noir trophy, and we pick up with Pinot Noir 5810, where it wins a regional trophy for Burgundy and the International Pinot Noir trophy.
In fact, to win a gold medal, or trophy I should say, sometimes the wine may have been tasted 7 to 8 times over the 2.5 weeks.
I think, you know, you can look at winning medals from two different points of view, from that of the producer, that of the consumer. For the producer, it gives them an independent view of the quality of their wine. Now, it may be that we've kicked it out, in which case they're perfectly justified in saying, why did you kick it out? What was wrong with it? And we try to answer those questions. But if we've approved of it, it can be a huge opportunity.
What the IWC does, and the raison d'etre for it, is to help the consumer choose fantastic wines.
I really don't think there's any other wine competition in the world that checks and rechecks and tastes and retastes as much as we do.
With the trophies decided, the co-chairs then have the task of selecting the champion wines of the year from among the national trophy winners. The wines judged to be the best in a particular category and from their country now compete for champion status in the categories of red, white, sparkling, fortified and sweet wine. Pinot Noir 5810 wins the much coveted national trophy and so has won a gold medal and 2 prestigious trophies in total. But who has won the champion red? The awards night is held in July at the Grosvenor House, Park Lane, London, and the International Wine Challenge concludes with a glittering spectacle of awards with guests arriving from around the globe to receive their accolades. The overall prestigious Champion Red Trophy 2014 goes to the Pinot Noir 5810, gaining it worldwide recognition. We can now identify the wine as being Clos de la Roche Grand Cru 2012 by Jean-Claude Boisset. As the evening draws to a close, winemakers, producers, retailers and wine trade reflect and plan for next year's entries.